Walter Collins was a 9-year-old boy who disappeared in 1928. After a nationwide manhunt, just 5 months later, someone claiming to be Collins showed up. But does this look like a 9-year-old boy to you? Just like every normal Saturday, Christine Collins, Walter Collins' mother, gave him a few bucks to go down to the cinema. He said, "Thanks, Mom," and started walking down to the local cinema. Unfortunately, on his walk, a mysterious vehicle pulled up next to him and told him to get into the car. It is unknown where this vehicle ended up, but unfortunately, Walter Collins was never seen alive again. At this point, police and the public had no idea where Walter went, and within hours of his disappearance, a nationwide manhunt erupted. The public put an extreme amount of pressure onto the police to find this boy, and when they couldn't find them, the outcry was quick in coming. To satiate the public's worry, the police found a 12-year-old runaway boy in Iowa, ending the nationwide manhunt, claiming that they had found the child. But a mother knows her son and immediately protested that this child was not hers. Police Captain J.J. Jones convinced her to take the boy home and try him out. But of course, just 3 weeks later, she brought the boy back to the police, stating that this boy certainly was not hers. Instead of being concerned about the mother's very legitimate worry, they decided to commit her to a mental institution. Hi, I'm the Wiki Explorer, and I do deep dives into interesting Wikipedia articles, and I extract all the most interesting, educational, and funny content out of the articles to bring to you. This article is called The Disappearance of Walter Collins. That's the 9-year-old boy that we talked about. He disappeared for 5 months until an imposter came, pretending to be him. Because Walter's mother refused to believe that this boy was her actual son, she was committed to an insane asylum for 10 days until the fake admitted that he wasn't Walter. In a sad twist of events, after finding out that the boy was in fact an imposter, the Wineville chicken coop murders came to light. There was an individual murdering and abducting multiple children throughout this Southern California county, and Walter Collins was one of those unlucky victims. Gordon Stewart, the alleged perpetrator of these crimes, was known to have murdered and assaulted 3 young children in this area. He was 19 years old at the time and had recently moved from Canada to the United States to pursue a career in farming. Evidence from the murder scenes led to him being the perpetrator, and he was executed swiftly in 1930 in the San Quentin State Jail. It was suspected that this young boy, only 19 years old, had already ruined the lives of over 20 other young men. It was speculated that he killed up to 20 young boys and assaulted many more, but the state of California could not come up with the evidence to support this allegation. The Wineville chicken murders had a profound effect on the community, not only affecting the boys and their families, but affecting the entire city. Wineville changed its name to Mira Loma in 1930, largely because of the negative publicity it got regarding the murders committed in this location. But the most unfortunate individual in this entire circumstance was one who got snubbed despite the fact that her child was murdered. The Los Angeles Police Department supposedly followed up on hundreds of leads, all leading to nothing within the first 5 months of his disappearance. So when a runaway boy in Iowa showed up and claimed to be that missing boy that he saw on the national news, police thought that they had opened and shut the case. News agencies and national media across the United States were all over this reunion, showing pictures and videos of Christine Collins and her son Walter Collins reuniting once again. But in these videos and these photographs, you can tell that something is not quite right. Look at this young man's smile, and look at his mother's. That doesn't appear to be the smile of a mother who is finally reunited with her son. And that's because he wasn't. Captain J.J. Jones of the police force knew this, but asked Christine a favor to take the boy home and try him out, even though she knew that he wasn't her son. The captain was facing a surmounting pressure from the public to find this boy, and they thought that they had finally found him. The media was resolved, and news articles had been published all throughout the US saying that the boy was finally found. So when Christine says that this is not her son, the police force doesn't want the social embarrassment of figuring out that they found the wrong boy. When Christine insisted that the boy wasn't her son, even after the trial period, Captain J.J. Jones decided to commit her to the psychiatric ward of the Los Angeles County Hospital, often known as the Insane Asylum. The Los Angeles Police Department was known to commit minorities and women to the insane asylums under the term Code 12. This was a euphemism and a convenient term used to jail someone who was considered an inconvenience for the police department. And to the Los Angeles County Police Department in 1928, it seems that there was nothing more inconvenient than a woman whose child was just murdered. One of the reasons Christine was treated in this way is that it was in the 1920s, and during the early 19th and 20th centuries, women were not treated the same as they are today. Women had just recently gotten the right to vote in 1920. It was extremely difficult for them to live on their own, and they didn't have the same rights that men had. The father of her son was a renowned criminal, and they separated when they were very young, meaning that Christine did not have a husband that could support her in this case. Disturbingly, despite Christine's lucidity and the knowledge that the boy that was given to her was not her son, she was committed to this insane asylum. Unfortunately, this was quite common for widowers back in the day, because the belief was that after the loss of their husband, they would go insane with grief. The imposter 12-year-old boy was given more credence than his own feigned mother. When J.J. Jones, the very police officer that committed Christine Collins to the insane asylum, questioned the young boy, he admitted to being a runaway from Iowa named Arthur Hutchins Jr., certainly not the Walter Collins that the police thought he was. When he was first picked up in Illinois, he said that he was not Walter Collins, but after being pushed, he admitted to being Walter Collins. His motivation for posing as Collins is actually crazy. He wanted to meet his Hollywood idol, Tom Mix, and he was extremely committed to this plan, pretending to be a lost boy who is murdered just to get shipped off to California for free. Unfortunately for the 12-year-old boy, he never got to meet his idol, and he was returned to his family back in Iowa very soon after this admission. Christine Collins filed a lawsuit against the Los Angeles Police Department for falsely imprisoning her and for the grief that they caused her after figuring out that her son was actually murdered in the Wineville chicken coop murders. Due to the age of this court case, I struggled to find the public records of this court case and the court proceedings, but this is the best that I could do. Christine's father was an immigrant from Ireland and her mother was an immigrant from England. Her family settled in Seattle, but she decided to move to California to start a new life. She met a con man and a robber named Walter Anson, who used the pseudonym of Walter Collins, so she never knew her own husband's real name. They married and had a son in 1918, but her husband was caught and sentenced to death, dying in prison in 1932. The police, when dealing with the case of the missing boy, were going through a lot of problems with corruption, and they hoped that this uplifting story of finding and reuniting a lost boy with his mother would help reestablish their positive nature in the eyes of the public. But it turns out that falsely imprisoning a woman into a psych ward after she lost her son was not a great look, and she easily won the court case, with the judge deciding that the LAPD needed to pay her $200,000 in today's money worth of damages. Sadly, the LAPD abused their power and never paid her out. Christine Collins attempted several times to collect the money owed to her by the LAPD, but was unsuccessful every time, even after opening a new court case in 1941, which the court ruled once again in her favor, stating that the LAPD owed her $300,000. Collins died at the age of 75, poor and penniless, with her only son dead. Collins still somehow retained hope that her son was alive throughout this entire process. Christine Collins, committed to the fact that her son might be alive, set up an interview with her son's alleged killer, Gordon Northcott. Northcott agreed, saying that he would state the entire truth of her son's disappearance, but at the last minute, he recanted everything and professed his innocence to her, further fueling her delusion that her son may still be alive. She spent every waking moment of the remainder of her life searching for her son. Today's topic was on the dark side of what I might typically cover, so please let me know if you like this type of content and if I should produce more. If you didn't like it and you want me to stick to more informational and positive articles, please let me know down in the comments. I appreciate all of your suggestions and all of your support. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.